So I wanted to give my impressions of my transition from the Sony Xperia X running Sailfish and the Xperia 10 running Sailfish. And I intended to have them side by side and try and get the differences between the screens. But as you can see, the Xperia X has stopped working, it stopped booting, and I can't seem to get it. I've done the buttons thing on the back where you hold down the power and the volume, and it vibrates 3 times, and that will shut it down, but I can't get anything to make it boot, so I don't know what to do. And now I have been forced to move back to this because when I got this, I used it for a few weeks and I just didn't like it, and I went back to the X because of all the things I'm going to mention pretty soon here. First of all, what I didn't like is about the screen aspect ratio. It's very tall, and I'm sure that's great for watching movies, but I'm not one of the people that thinks watching movies on your phone is a smart thing to do. That is not what I do, and so it really doesn't make sense to have such a long screen when you're using a mobile phone, especially Sailfish operating system, which is all about the swipes, where you swipe from the top, you swipe from the bottom, you swipe from the sides. And so when you're holding it and the top is so far up there, one-handed use is absolutely impossible for the most part. And in certain situations it's not that bad, but it just feels awkward with the Sailfish operating system. So I really wonder why, or even if, Yalla decided to use this because Sony told them to, or because it doesn't seem like hardware-wise it makes sense to use it with the operating system. The aspect ratio, this screen is also less vibrant on the 10, and I wish I could show you that, but this tri-luminous display on here, I didn't realize how good it was until I got this phone, and it is just so much better. These are washed out colors on the 10. It just, even at the same brightness level, this just looks so much readable, so much better color. This screen is just so much better on the X. What I also don't like about this is the fingerprint reader is very slow sometimes. It works just fine there, of course, but sometimes it can be extremely slow. I have to try it many times, and then sometimes it just stops working altogether and I have to reboot the phone to get it started again, which is very annoying. So I realized that the X had a fingerprint reader on some of the models, but this one doesn't, so I never experienced it until I got this one. This one's even annoying in that just putting your PIN number can be very slow. It's kind of surprising to me how I will put it in, how long it takes after you've entered it. 1, 2, 3, it's 2 full seconds before it even acknowledges that you have entered in your PIN number. It just seems very slow. I'm still having, one of the reasons I was hoping this would be better because it has better Android support was that some of the data issues with Android apps would be better, but it really doesn't seem to be. I still encounter with Signal and what other app? Signal and Reolink, which is my webcam, home webcam. They both will just stop getting data, and I have to do all sorts of things to it. Sometimes is easier to get it started again, either with the settings, utilities, sometimes network restarting, sometimes restarting the home screen will help the Android apps get started, but sometimes a full reboot of the phone is still needed, which I was hoping that would be one of the things that this improved on, and it really, if it has, it's such a small degree that it doesn't really matter. Another thing that's a problem with the 10 is the battery life. It's just poor. It won't really do a full day for me. This always did. Maybe just a tiny bit more, but it was pretty safe. I never really worried about it. This, I always need a charger somewhere around because it just does not last a day. It just doesn't. So that's another reason that this is lesser. This does charge much faster than the X, though. I will give the 10 that. It charges to 100% really pretty fast. And one of the final things that I've run into, and I'm sure it's just the Android and how this was never fully Android integrated, and this isn't either, even though it's supposedly updated. But I'm still constantly running into audio issues, and to the point that I don't trust the phone. I will be listening to either audio through a browser like YouTube, or an Android app that plays music, and even though I have the headphones on, it will start blaring out the speakers on the external speakers. And I've embarrassed myself at work a couple of times with that. So yeah, Android apps not really that great, and I wish I could go back to this. I wish I could get this phone working again because I like it. It's thinner, it's smaller, the form factor makes it better, it has better battery life, it has a better screen. There's so many things better with it. This has updated Android apps, and if that's very important to you, I don't know why you're running Sailfish, so it's kind of weird to me. But anyway, those are my initial thoughts now that I'm forced to use the 10 over the X. Thanks for watching.